What's up, crew? We're back in the shop. A bit of a hectic day. We've got the Shamrock running. It's been running for like an hour now. Burning out some fuel because I gotta show that in a couple days to somebody and go for a test ride. But 150 degrees, 60 pounds oil pressure, thing's running great. But that's not what today's video is about. We're back on the 85 Chris Craft 312 Stinger. If you haven't seen the first two videos of us picking this thing up and then tearing into the engines, go back and watch those. But Luke literally has this thing shining better than it has in 20 years. I mean, look at this. You can see the gleam. Look at that. Look. That's incredible. I mean, even the Stinger logo there. And yes, I know many of you have been complaining. I will be getting shop lights soon, but you're gonna have to bear with me because I'm working through some stuff with the shop right now. So anyway, lights will be here soon, so stand by, we'll get them. Thank you guys for all your comments. But I mean, even this side, check this out. It's got the whole thing freaking shining. Woo! That is amazing. So anyway, let's tear into the Stinger again. You guys have been awesome because you've been giving me all sorts of tips and tricks with these TRS stern drives and why my engines may not be turning over. Yes, I know I shouldn't have clicked the starter so many times, it's bad for it, but we had to try, you know. But anyway, what we're gonna do is pull these TRS stern drives off the boat. I'm thinking that both of these are likely seized. This one was for sure, and this one, I mean, I can't even turn it over, and I know for a fact that it's not in gear. So anyway, these stern drives are gonna come off the boat. We're probably just gonna go ahead and rebuild these no matter what, because, I mean, that's what needs to be done. I'm gonna go buy, like I said, I had some donor stern drives. I'm gonna go pick up, and we're gonna use what we have to put together two hopefully good functioning, well-oiled TRS stern drives. But with these off the boat, there should be no resistance on the transmission, and ATF has been soaking on these engines for 2 weeks now. So, and the spark plugs are out. All that said, let's get these drives off. Let's tear back into the boat. Let's turn the batteries on, and let's see if we can get this thing to officially turn over with as little resistance on the engines as possible. This is Boat Restoration by Ben. Here we go. All right, what's up, guys? I got my Chris Craft 312 Stinger right here that we are beautifying on a budget. I've got a couple fuel injected 7.4 liter MPI Magnum Mercruisers tied to Velvet Drive transmissions, and then a clapped out interior of an old speedboat that we're trying to bring back to life. I've already relocated batteries up front here. They used to be in a horrible spot down there in the engine bay. I've removed all 16 spark plugs, filled every single cylinder with ATF automatic transmission fluid, and let it sit for 2 weeks. I really need to see if my $900, $1,000 investment was worth it, and if these engines are even any good. Obviously on our port side, if you go back and watch the other videos, we had a cracked lower gear case. It's been that way for years. That one was definitely seized, so we need a new one of those. But then this one, I mean, it's got up some shaft play, but does not turn over at all, and I know that is in neutral. These TRS drives, you can run them trimmed all the way up as long as the transmission's in neutral, because there's no transmission shifting mechanisms inside the stern drive. Pretty cool tech. You can put a lot of horsepower through them. That's why guys liked them back in the day. However, Mercury wanted a simpler setup and didn't want a separate transmission in the boat and a separate stern drive. These are true IOs, so they got rid of the whole system. Anyway, I like it because it's going to be smooth shifting, and you can put more horsepower through these things. But first and foremost, let's pull these off the boat real quick. This one I'm gonna pull off altogether. You have to shift these into forward in order to remove them, I'm told. So I'm gonna do that. Let's see. And then it should just be 6 bolts, or 6 nuts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and your trim cylinders, and the drive should pull straight off. So let's remove this bar here and pop those 2 drives straight off the boat. All right, you guys can roast us. We got a nice little setup here. These TRS drives come with a little loop. We got our Dollar Tree ratchet strap. And I got 2 of my 2x4s, 2x3s from the shop build in my foundation. So we're gonna try and put a little tension straight on. That's the big thing here, is because we need that spline inside to release. So we got tension straight back. Nothing crazy. I'm gonna do a couple cranks on it, and then we're gonna pop it a few more times with the wood block. See what we can do. Yeah, check this out. All corroded and crusty. But we left our nuts on so it didn't come flying off. Good call, Luke. But we got it to separate, so now we'll... Can I lift? Oh yeah. Yeah, so we'll pull those 2 nuts off here. And then pull that upper off. See what we're dealing with. And the stern drives are aluminum.
Stainless.
And that's stainless. Nothing's magnetic. Hang on, we're gonna pop this. Look at this. Oh. It still spins. So, wow. I mean, these weren't the reason why the engine was seized, but dang. All right, you wanna hold this real quick? I'll pull the drive off. See what we're dealing with. Oh, they're pretty light too, guys, honestly. It's really light. Oh, I got my steering, or my, there we go. Okay. Wow. Whoa. Just a little corrosion.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's your gimbal bearing.
Yep.
Wow. Guess what? It's gonna get new gimbal bearings. We shine your light.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Oh my God. Look at that.
Oh no. It's like,
old grease and or corrosion.
you know, that gimbal bearing probably doesn't even turn over anymore. Let's see. Nope, it is sufficiently seized, that gimbal bearing. But I could see, it smells so bad. Our O-ring is bad. Ugh. Okay. Nice. Well, that'll be a good clean job. And then a new gimbal. But at least we have nothing keeping the motors from spinning. And if we, here, let's turn this on its side. Oh,
Holy crap.
look at all that stuff that just came out. Yeah, see,
I'm surprised that spins.
here's our shaft, guys. And it's seized at the top coupler, but look, whole shaft, whole drive still spins. Fine. Oh, and Luke and I were playing with it earlier, but come out here. Let's go look at that lower. So this was the cracked lower. But look, I mean, even it still spins. See that? It's pretty crazy, even with the big old crack there. So here's our coupler. We're gonna need that again. But I'd say we're still gonna junk that lower. That upper may be okay to reuse, but either way, both drives are coming off. We'll use the same procedure for the starboard drive. Ratchet strap, couple of flathead screwdrivers hit in from either side, and then a little bit of force with the wood block and pops it right out. Okay, let's try that. Some of you probably think these assemblies should be replaced. Somebody commented about these. These are welded where they've replaced the steering pins, so that's kind of cool. It's good to know. But yeah, definitely cleaning that out where the bellows are. Maybe even replacing the bellows, and then new gimbal bearings for sure. But let's go ahead and get this drive off, and then we'll see about turning the engine by hand. Okay, well, this starboard drive has really been giving me a hard time. Based on what the port drive looks like, I'll flash that up on the screen. It is disgusting. Corrosion. The gimbal bearing is seized, like literally doesn't spin. That's all gonna have to be cleaned out. That's gonna come out. I may even have to take this drive housing off the boat, but I really don't want to do that. We'll see. But anyway, this starboard one, we've tried everything. All the right ways you're supposed to do it, and the wrong ways with prying and all that, and still can't get it out. So, I mean, we're at the point where when we're pulling on it with a ratchet rear and beating on it, all we're doing is moving the trailer. So what I'm going to do is hook up my chain hoist, and I'm going to see if I can't lift it and pop it free. I don't know, I'm trying anything. You guys are probably gonna give me a hard time, say I'm doing this all wrong, but this thing is seized in there. And you know, I thought the motors may turn over once the drives came off, but I don't know yet. So there's still more things to try. There's some different oils to try, and I also have some other remedies that I think we should try as well. But anyway, I'm gonna hook up a chain hoist to this drive, either at the top here or the bottom. Try to pull this dang thing off. I have sufficiently struggled with this starboard stern drive to the point where I can get it 1/8 of an inch away and have done some terrible things to the housing. I mean, we've pulled with the come along straight from this center pick. We've pulled up, we've tried jacking, I've jumped on the whole boat and trailer. The next thing to do would be able to pull this off, and I guess you can remove the coupler that's up here. I'll show you guys, and then the drive will pull off and you'll leave the shaft inside. What's happening here, I believe, is that the shaft itself is literally rusted and seized inside the gimbal bearing. And I mean, if the port stern drive was any foreshadowing to what the starboard one would be, then there you have it. So at this stage here, look real quick, if you pull this cap off, it's actually pretty nice in there, but I'd have to drain all of the fluid. I mean, you see all the fluid that's in there? Yeah, and look, it's a little rusty on that bearing right there. So I think we're better off just starting over with new drives, or at least piecing together 2 drives that are in much better condition than these. But yeah, apparently if you move this piece here, you access the end of that spline and you can pull the drive off. So at this stage, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Because remember, you should be able to turn those props over by hand. These things are tight as a tiger right now. I mean, that's what we're dealing with. Corrosion, getting inside, and then just seizing things up. And you can see the little bit of the splines up there on the back of the transmission. That should turn over, but again, we've got a couple motors that are pretty tight themselves, so. I brought my vacuum. I think I'm gonna start cleaning those up here. Not gonna lie, guys, a lot of water came out of that when I cracked it open. But she's draining. I got my pump set up with my battery, and the levels are dropping. Oh yeah, you can see our other gear now since the levels have gone down. That's pretty cool. I mean, it looks clean, very clean. It's not destroyed by any means. And look how big that shaft is that goes into it. I mean, that's a monster. But the oil is a little black, I'm just saying. So anyway, glad we did that. Didn't make a mess. But once that's drained, I can pull that plate off there and hopefully pop this drive off. I mean, no doubt, these things are beefy, but look at that. That is a serious, that's the end of the shaft. Right here, end of the shaft. This nut comes off and this whole drive will separate from the shaft with the bearings and everything inside of there. I've never seen something like that before. So simple. I mean, you saw that big shaft that comes through here. That's the end of it. Pretty cool. All right, so we're gonna pop this nut off, and this drive should drop right out. Yep, there goes the drive. Okay, see my wrenches fall right out. Damn, that shaft is in there. We're gonna have to do some serious stuff to get that shaft out. And we gave this thing such a hard time. And now it's literally just gonna slide straight out. Wow. Oh yeah, God, it just came out like butter. Yep. What am I caught on? Oh God. Got him. Look at this. Oh my goodness. I mean, that is like green, goo, rust. Oh my God. It's so scary looking. We're gonna have to clean up our faceplate here. But yeah, I mean, there's our shaft. Just hanging out. Old O-ring. Again, that's looks terrible. And that definitely doesn't spin over. Look at that. Oh my God. Yeah, we're gonna have to get like a nut back on there and a slide hammer, I think, to make that happen. Whew. Jeez. All right, here's the joy of this next part. Now that the drives have been removed, I know that the shafts for the drives were seized in the gimbal bearings, and I know for a fact that one is seized in the gimbal bearing. That said, if the transmissions are in good shape, they should still turn over in neutral with the engines. So now, let's go up in the boat. Let's see what's going on. So this puts us in our next predicament. So these have been sitting here for probably a month now. ATF in the cylinders, and honestly, not a whole lot leaked out, or else my drip pan would have been full back there. That was mostly water in the drip pan. But these things should turn over with a breaker bar, and we did get a bigger breaker bar here. Last time we tried it, literally started torquing the crankshaft bolt some more. So, that being said, I'm gonna put these in neutral, where I know neutral to be. Spark plugs are all out. And I'm gonna try one more time with the breaker bar on the engine to get that thing to bump. Let's just see if we can bump them. Also, some random guy on the internet told me to take the belts off to make sure my alternator wasn't keeping my crankshaft from turning. Thank you, sir, but everything spins over just fine. All the pumps. So anyway, it needs new belts, so we're just gonna leave both belt sets off, but everything turns over fine, as suspected. But I don't think I mean, again, I guess any less resistance, the better. Do not think a accessory drive belt would keep something like this from turning over, especially when you're using a wrench this size. All right, I'm going to plop this on here. Try to crank again. Let's see what we got. This poor thing's been cranked on too many times. Nope. I don't like how much I've tightened it. Just loosen that up. Give the other engine a go. Now that you can see. sparks. Don't like that. Don't like that at all. Oof. She is sufficiently, they're both sufficiently seized up. I mean, at this stage, I will take many more recommendations on what do you guys think I should do. I know I have to pull the drives off. The drives are gonna get replaced. The gimbal bearings are gonna get replaced. I mean, I don't know what else to try on the engines other than put a fork in this for now, and before I burn up starters or cause fires or anything like that, I mean, I think I gotta pull these motors out. So, not the ending I wanted to this video, but you guys gotta tell me, what do you think's going on? And again, this is my little kind of side passion project, so we'll see how much money is really worth putting into it. I don't wanna rebuild 2 new motors. I will get 2 motors turning over on stands. I'll pull heads off, I'll clean things up and see what we can do on the inside of the motors. But at this stage, I'm thinking the motor's gotta come out. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments. Shoot me an email, ben@boatrestorationbyben.com. If one of you wants to take on this project at this stage, let me know. Otherwise, again, I'm just gonna keep on chugging along and rebuild it and sell it for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 bucks. So anyway, all right, we'll keep moving. My goal is still to get this thing to go 60 miles an hour again. But as always, thank you guys for watching. Kind of a lame video. We struggled with those TRS drives quite a bit, but seeing the drives that are on that Scarab, holy shit, there's still some nice ones out there. So I'm determined.
Oh, yeah. See, that's how they're supposed to turn over.
To get this thing moved forward, have a couple speedboats in the shop, and keep producing content like this. All right, that's it for this Chris Craft update video. It's time to get back into the Wellcraft and get a couple of those Caterpillars staged up to install. We'll see you next time.